This is Sunday Focus, a weekly public affairs program that looks at the topics affecting our society and the people who are making a change in the community each and every day. The people who have vision for the next generation. Sunday Focus presents new challenges for us, keeping you informed with topics of local and regional interest. Now the host of Sunday Focus, Christine Manica.
Good morning. Coming up on this edition of Sunday Focus, we'll sit down with the new executive director of the Sioux Falls Area Humane Society, James Oppenheimer. The Sioux Falls Area Humane Society is one of the many great organizations in the Sioux Empire. They love animals, and their mission is to find all of them their forever homes. That's all coming up on this edition of Sunday Focus. How are you, James?
I'm great. How are you?
You know what? Doing great. There's a lot to get to with the Humane Society, but first, we want to get to know you. You are the new executive director with the Sioux Falls Area Humane Society. So tell us about yourself.
Well, thank you for having me on, first of all. I appreciate it and excited to be here. And thank you for getting my name right. I truly appreciate that. That's a long story from back when, Christine, you announced with Sioux Falls City last year.
We can get into that.
We'll get in, and there were some name issues then, but known you for a little while, and I appreciate you getting my name right. No, I'm from England originally. That's where the funny accent comes from. Been over here for 23 years now. Came over to Fargo back in 2000 as part of a one-semester student exchange. Back then, I was asked to not buy a jacket in England because they don't make them warm enough. I was told to come to the mall here and buy a Columbia jacket, and that rang true. And my mother made me promise to come back in 3 months, and 23 years later, I'm still here. But yeah, went to school in Fargo, went to MSU Moorhead, and met my wife there, Marissa, and we have been married about 19 and a half years. And have 2 children. Henry is a 15-year-old at Lincoln in the band, and Gemma is a soccer player. She's at Patrick Henry right now. She's 14 years old, just turned 14. But we moved around the Midwest, lived in the Twin Cities, lived in Grand Forks, and then were lucky enough to get moved by one of my old employers, Progressive, moved us to Sioux Falls back in 2008, and been here ever since. I worked with Progressive Insurance and then with Holmes Murphy and Holt McDowell in the insurance world, and took a leap and a massive pay cut about 7 years ago to go full-time into soccer, having been a part-time coach. I was at Dakota Alliance Soccer for 7 years as a full-time tournament director, and then as the director of business operations, running the business side of the club. Taking care of everything financial, sponsorship, HR related, and coaching at the club. Had a lot of success at DASC, won a couple of national titles, and took a team to the only South Dakota team ever to U.S. Youth Nationals, which is the biggest youth soccer contest in the U.S. We got to the semifinals, lost the eventual national champions. And I coached with Augustana. I was an assistant there for a year. Coached with Lincoln for a year. I was the head coach for 4 years at Sioux Falls Christian. And I was the director of player personnel for Sioux Falls City FC, but made a big leap in December out of the soccer world and into the animal world. A tremendous opportunity with the Sioux Falls Area Humane Society. So, loving life there right now, and adopting out as many animals as we can.
Yeah, this is a little fun North Dakota joke. So once you came to Sioux Falls, you probably thought, why did I ever go to North Dakota? Just seeing the comparison there again, small joke. But yeah, that's how James and I actually met, through the Sioux Falls City FC. It's the new women's soccer team around the area, and I think we got along pretty well.
I thought so. We had a good time.
A hard time, but yes, the first time I met him, I gotta be honest with you, I couldn't remember your name. Like, the first day after meeting you, I asked Joel, who's also part of
Joel Kaskinen, good guy.
And I said, gosh, what's his name again? And I said, the English guy. I couldn't think of it. And he's like, oh, it's James. And then when I saw your last name, I'm like, I'm in trouble. Like, as an announcer, I'm like, I'm so in trouble. And I severely botched it. So that's what you were talking about there.
But you did a great job. And we had a lot of fun at Sioux Falls City. 400 or 500 people at every game. And you were out there announcing. I was running around trying to make sure players came on onto the field at the right time. And keeping the press box in line. And yeah, we had fun. They're going to have a great second season this upcoming year.
Yeah, it's a different change of pace, what you're doing right now. You went from the soccer field basically to an office. So what do you think the biggest change has been for you so far?
The biggest change so far, it's a couple of things. For me personally, it's really been the fact that I'm working during the day as opposed to in the evenings. The soccer world, I wouldn't start until 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, but then you'd get done with a full day of work, and then 3 nights a week and every other weekend you go to the soccer field and be working till 10, 11 at night at times. This is a job where I'm there at 7, 8 in the morning, work my butt off during the day, but then when I leave at 5, 6, 7 at night, I'm done. And I'm able to actually spend some time with my kids and my wife. And that's been a blessing of a change. And I miss the soccer. I miss a lot of the people I worked with, and especially a lot of the players that I was fortunate enough to influence. But having time with family has been amazing.
What drew you to this position with the Sioux Falls Area Humane Society, besides thinking, maybe it's time for a change?
Well, I'd been considering a change for a while after spending an entire summer traveling. I'd been thinking about, do I want to really stay in soccer? Is this what I want to do as my kids were getting older? And this opportunity came along. I heard about it. Someone referred me to it. But when I was younger, I was brought up with animals as an animal lover. My father still owns horses. We always had dogs in the house. And just a love for animals was something that was always inside me. I'd wanted to be a vet when I was younger, but apparently didn't have the grades to do it. So never fully pursued that. I'd thought about going back to veterinary school actually in my 20s.
I know someone with experience in the veterinarian school life. Not me. I'm talking about my twin sister, of course.
Oh, really?
But yeah, she's graduating in May, actually.
Oh, well, that's awesome to hear. That's exciting.
It's exciting, and she can tell anybody it's the hardest 4 years that she's ever been to. So this is kind of your way of reliving that dream in a way. Yeah.
An opportunity. I did think that at some point I would end up working with animals again. And then this opportunity came along, and a mentor of mine said to me a couple of years ago that when you see your next career change, you'll think you're not qualified for the job. It'll seem like a huge challenge, but you'll know it's the right position for you. And right from the very beginning, through the interview phase, it just felt like the right position. I'm not going to say I knew I was going to get the job, but it really felt right from the very beginning. And there's some tremendous people that work there, a great board of directors, and obviously some amazing animals. So having a chance to save animals' lives and give them the best care they can has been a true blessing so far.
Growing up around pets your entire life, animals, was there a pet that kind of inspired you to take on this position besides your family inspiring you?
Well, so we have a cat at home. She is a rescue cat. She came from a terrible hoarding situation. Her name's Gabriella, or Gabby. And she has been really a positive influence in our kids' lives and has been a great addition to our family. But seeing that where she came from, that she came to us with no hair on her legs. She was a few pounds lighter than she is now, a very scared cat. And seeing what we've been able to do for her, just giving her a safe home, and then seeing what she's done for our quality of life, helps you realize just what a joy animals can bring to a family and how they can help bring people together.
If you are just listening right now, James Oppenheimer, he is the new executive director for the Sioux Falls Area Humane Society. So, James, in a nutshell, what is your role with the Humane Society? Do you oversee the staff, future adoptees, or foster homes?
I am the executive director. I run the organization. We have 49 staff, full and part-time. There are 8 that report directly to me, and then everyone else reports on up through them. The Humane Society itself takes in 8,000 animals a year. So we're an open admission shelter, which means every single animal that comes to us, we have to take in, rehouse, and treat and figure out what we can do, what the best outcome is for that specific animal. Mission is to be a safe haven and human voice for all animals in need. I am trying to set the vision for the organization, trying to make sure that we are well funded, that organization-wise we are well organized, trying to make sure morale within the group is good, and make sure be a positive force at the top of the organization. Make sure that that our team members who are working with these animals day in, day out, who get to see some of the hardships these animals go through, make sure they feel supported and appreciated. And if they are supported, appreciated, they do great work, and then the animals are treated better. We move animals through a little quicker to adoption, get them to that adoptable point a little quicker. So that's it in a nutshell.
Sometimes when people go from one job to another, they take skills from that previous job. So any skills that you're using that maybe Dakota Alliance or Sioux Falls City FC, playing soccer with the dogs. Yeah.
I wish we could play soccer with the dogs.
Darn it.
What was kind of interesting was so my job before, I coached women's soccer. And so I had 40 young teenage female soccer players who were who listened to me and who I was trying to be a positive influence on. And then at Dakota Alliance, I had 10 to 20 coaches who were guys who, it was a much more of a locker room atmosphere. And that's why I was trying to run the business side of things. I had thought coming into this job that the skills I would use would be my management skills with the coaches. Really what I found is a lot of what I've used is the team coaching skills, trying to bring our group of 50 together as one big team, allow people to support each other, give them that positive, efficient, transparent servant leadership that I try and bring, and try and utilize those skills, like really supporting people, listening to them, understanding some of the situations that occur, because not everything is peaches and cream there. So it's been those skills more than some of the management skills.
What has been your favorite part working with the Humane Society so far? Anything that maybe you might have already learned? I've
learned a ton. Just seeing some of the animals go out have been amazing, and seeing how they are treated. For example, we had a capacity issue with our dogs in the recent past, and we set a challenge to our adoption counselors to try and we put a social media blast out, and we set a challenge to our counselors to try and adopt out 30 dogs in a week. And they ended up adopting out 33 dogs, 26 cats, and 3 small animals, 62 animals in a week moving out. Seeing the success that the group had making that happen was so rewarding, and knowing that adoption itself, it's a combination. Our kennel staff have to take care of the animals. Our vet staff spay and neuter the animals. They make sure that they're healthy. Our marketing people push so people can see what animals are available. Our humane officers do a lot of treatment. And then our adoption counselors help or our behaviorists make sure animals are adoptable and are well behaved, and the counselors adopt them out. So it's a true team effort, and seeing that happen was really rewarding. But I'll give one example of some little things that, if it's okay, some little things we see. I was walking around. I like to kind of take a stroll through, say hi to the dogs and the cats occasionally. If ever you're stressed out during the day, walking into the cat room for 5 minutes is like complete bliss. Walking to dog rooms has the opposite effect.
Boy.
The dogs are beautiful, but they will start barking and asking for treats a lot. But I walked into what was a cat room, one of our new cat rooms. I'm looking around at the cats, and I turn around, and we have Alyssa, one of our kennel staff, was sitting there eating her lunch on the floor. And I asked her what she was doing, and behind the door, there was this teeny tiny little dog that had just been dropped off that was nervous and terrified in the cat room, but in a separate cage. And she said he'd been dropped off. She noticed he was nervous, so she decided to eat her lunch there, sitting next to him, and just try help calm him down a little bit. And that sort of level of caring is what happens. And that, just seeing that was kind of a heart-melting moment, and something that made me realize how much these people care.
Are you trying to make me adopt a dog right now, James?
Well, I know you're engaged, and a great wedding present for anyone to buy you would be a new dog or cat. We have many available.
Well, you were trying to. This is kind of funny. You were trying to offer me a snake.
Well,
you're
if you would
trying to adopt a snake.
We did have a snake to adopt out. That's gone now, so you don't need to take it. But
good.
We did have a skinny pig, a hairless skinny pig.
You're kidding.
That was there for a while. We had a pig for a while. That was interesting.
Wow.
We had to keep it in a cage in our bathroom because you can't put them by dogs.
Right.
So the pig didn't get adopted. It went out to rescue. It did not go anywhere else. It went out to a sanctuary somewhere. But yeah, we get some interesting animals in. We had 4 gerbils surrendered a week ago. It was 3 females and 1 male. And so we had to separate the male out initially.
Yes.
And we clean out they get fed and cleaned about twice a day. So someone went and fed the gerbils in the morning, came back in the afternoon, and one of them had given birth.
Oh no.
The problem was figuring out which one of them, which one of the 4 gerbils had the litter. So there was a bit of gerbil watch going on. It was like an episode of Jerry Springer for animals.
All right, which one of you did it?
We figured it out in the end, but that was quite an entertaining
It's never a dull moment, is it, James?
Never a dull moment. So if you want a baby gerbil, we have plenty of those too.
I will have to take a little bit of a pass on that for now. But if you are just listening, James Oppenheimer, he is the executive director with the Sioux Falls Area Humane Society. I was so good up until that point. Now, you were talking about how, yes, recently the Humane Society was at capacity for its dogs, and it was on the website, on your social media pages. Now, I was telling you before we started this interview, I can't remember a time when the Humane Society was at capacity when it comes to the dogs there. So what did that mean for you guys? And can you say how many dogs are currently there at the moment?
Yeah, absolutely. So we get close to capacity in the summer, but in the winter, it's pretty rare that we have this many animals in, and we saw this big influx of dogs. And adoptions were actually up from where they usually are, but just this huge influx of dogs. And there's all kinds of different theories as to whether they were COVID dogs that were being returned, or just whether we hadn't had a lot of seizures. It was just a lot of surrendered dogs. And it takes a while to get a dog to become to adoptability. If they're not spayed or neutered, we have to neuter them or spay them. Every animal that goes out is. And so that delays the process a little bit. So more dogs come in. our vets can only do a certain number of operations a day. It takes a while. So we ended up with a huge number of dogs there, and we were running out of kennel room. We were to the point where a big seizure, because we do all animal control for the area, a big seizure of 6-7 dogs, and we were going to be in trouble. We were going to be putting down drop kennels, which are about half the size of a normal kennel, just to get another animal in. Again, we're an open admission shelter. We have to take everyone. So we put this big social media blast out. We're on TV. We emailed our 9,000 email list of 9,000. We dropped everything on Facebook. We got 40-some thousand Facebook followers. Just a big blast of, hey, come help us. We lined up a ton of adoptions, and 62 animals were adopted out. So we are no longer at capacity. However, it doesn't take much to get us back there. Right now, we have 245 animals in care. There are 43 cats available and 38 dogs available. And you can find them on our website.
No, yeah, just seeing these animals on your website, again, makes me want to adopt more so than what I already do. But talk about maybe an animal, specifically a dog, that maybe just came into the shelter, because sometimes, like you said, you don't know their stories and you don't know their whole background.
We have a lot of animals available. Dixie, which is a beautiful little black and white.
There's an article on all the radio websites, on the Results Town Square Media websites. She's actually featured in this article.
Yes.
And just reading her description, she just seems like a sweetheart.
Very, very well-mannered, beautiful dog. We have a couple of puppies in there. I'm trying to think if we don't have a lot of purebreds in there. There's a number of different pit bulls that are in there right now. I think Maurice has been around for quite a while. He's a brown pit bull that's a beautiful animal and is more than ready to have an
Another
owner.
dog on the article, actually.
Oh, really?
I love those dogs that maybe are a little bit older or have been in the Humane Society for a little bit. So when someone wants to adopt these dogs or animals, what are some of the qualifications?
Well, we try and match up animal and owner together as well as we can. There are certain qualifications you have to have. You need to live in a house or an apartment that allows pets, and we do check on that. We're trying to minimize the number of returns. You need to, I'm trying to think, basically prove your residence, prove that if you have another animal, we do a dog introduction. But we're looking for pet lovers, animal lovers. Money can be a boundary, can be a barrier to adoption. We try to break that by making sure that we can provide food if you would like food, and trying to make it as affordable as possible for you. We're looking for people that love and care for animals. If you can prove that, if you have a stable residence and you can show that you can care for the animal, you don't have some kind of a history that may cause us to have doubts about it, then you're a good candidate for adoption. And we try and make it as easy as possible to adopt. We look for appointments if we can. The best way to do things, go to sfadopt.com and figure out which animal you would like. Click on the adoption form at the bottom of that animal's page. Then you fill out the form, and it's pretty simple. You're just asking for name, address, if you have other animals, that sort of thing. And then our staff will call you within 48 hours, set up an appointment. And if you have an animal you really want, this is something I didn't understand before this. If you have an animal you really want and you're specific about that animal, when we contact you and you say, okay, set up an appointment, we then put that animal adoption pending, so no one can swoop in ahead of you and steal the animal away from you. So you come in, you meet it, and even if that particular dog doesn't work out for you, we use our matchmaker system to say, hey, what about this dog? What about this dog? So yeah, we're open 11 to 6, 6 days a week. You can walk in. We prefer appointments. If you walk in, we'll probably make you fill out the same paperwork anyway. And we hope you leave with a with a forever friend.
Aw, yeah, absolutely. Now, the Sioux Falls Humane Society wouldn't be who they are without the donors and volunteers. And there is an event coming up this April, Saturday, April 15th.
Yes.
It's the biggest event for donors, Paws to Celebrate. And for the first time, I'm emceeing this event, so I don't want to mess up your last name. So this is good practice for me right now. So, James, for anyone who hasn't been to the Paws to Celebrate event, why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, Paws to Celebrate is a really exciting event. We have an amazing MC this year. That's really all people need to know, isn't it, Christine?
Is that all they need to know?
It is April 15th. Our goal is to raise over $70,000 towards the Humane Society and to help us continue to be a safe haven for and a human voice for all animals in need. We have a live auction that features 10 phenomenal prizes. I know there's a guitar in there. There's a rumor that there might be something signed by Billie Eilish in there as well. And then we have a silent auction as well. Over the course of the evening, we'll have various speakers. There's a heads or tails game that goes on. It's really a fun gala evening to come out, celebrate what we do at the Humane Society, and also an opportunity to donate towards the Humane Society and just learn a little bit more about what we do. It's at the Event Center, Saturday, April 15th. If you would like to buy a table or buy tickets, go to our website, again, sfadopt.com. And it is under events, but I believe there's a banner at the very front, on the very front page of our website right now, where you just click on there for tickets. And you have to go on there and see what the price of a ticket is. But it is well worth it. Every penny goes towards giving the animals a safer home. Yeah,
absolutely. You know, being there on not the emceeing side of it, but just as a patron, as someone who supports the Humane Society. They also have sometimes dogs that are up for adoption. Yes. Sometimes they're puppies, sometimes they're toddlers, as I like to call them. They're 2 or whatever. But there's so many reasons why people should attend this event. It's what you said, James. It's not just because it's an event to go out and have fun, but it's also a benefit that helps the animals, and it helps the Sioux Falls Area Humane Society even more. So for anyone that has any questions about this event, about the Humane Society, maybe you need some donations right now. That can include monetary donations, blankets, anything like that. We love money. Yeah. Where can they go? We accept any donation. Food is great. Blankets are huge. Every animal, and we house about 300 animals at a time. They all get a blanket a day or 2 in their kennel. And our laundry pile is crazy every day. There's constantly running laundry. Blankets are great. Financial donations are always appreciated. It costs about $3.5 million a year to run this organization. And we heavily rely on the generosity of the Sioux Falls community to help us continue to fund and continue to function. You can bring stuff in to the Humane Society. We're located up on Benson, just east of I-229. If you drive north on 229, you'll see a massive billboard on the left side of the road pointing you where to get off. And we're just a quarter of a mile off the highway. You can give us, if you have any questions, want any information, give us a call, 605-338-4441, or go to our website, sfadopt.com, and we'll be able to tell you all kinds of fun information. We also have an army of volunteers that come in and help us out walking dogs. I should say every dog or cat, we try and get 20 minutes of playtime or human interaction a day, and that takes a lot of people to make that happen. All right, awesome. Once again, it's James Oppenheimer. He's the new executive director with the Sioux Falls Area Humane Society. James, look forward to seeing you in April, and thanks for giving us some of your time today. Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me on, and we'll look forward to our April event, and thank you again.
Sunday Focus is a public affairs program of Results Radio Town Square Media, Sioux Falls.